The Gnomes of Yeeps have been around since the first public release. At the time, they could not move or speak and were mostly just decorations. However, they have changed a lot since then. Now they can move, talk, and sometimes even trade. The strange thing is, why did they used to be statues and what changed? I think I just might have the answers, and maybe the gnomes really do have lore. Much like real people in society, everybody has their own opinion. The gnomes are no different. Some gnomes seem to really like Yeeps and think of them as curious little creatures. An interesting theme I've been seeing a lot of is that gnomes are actually scared of Yeeps. That's really not very surprising considering how often I see people bully gnomes. There's a bunch of gnomes across all the biomes that are actually asking for mercy. While some gnomes enjoy the presence of Yeeps, others definitely do not. In Nokia, it's apparently public knowledge that Yeeps have invaded their calm city environment. Is this gnome propaganda? Probably not, but I'm gonna say it is. Most gnomes seem to tolerate Yeeps and maybe just find them annoying, while a few are very welcoming. I think the simple answer to this is no. The gnomes clearly have a high intelligence. They built their own society and currency with a bunch of cities and places for gnomes to live. The only thing I can really think of that might show them as possibly being evil is that it's strange for them to have an experimentation room and retro facility, which is clearly being used to test the mobility of Yeeps, and in Facility X, the bug area is also seemingly built to test Yeeps. But I also think the gnomes might not have even built Facility X. Overall, the gnomes don't seem aggressive toward Yeeps, and they probably aren't evil. Circling back to the gnome's intelligence, like I already said, they are probably very smart. But I think the biggest piece of evidence for this is that they literally have access to multiversal transportation and maybe time travel. When Yeeps 2.0 released, it was said by the developers that Yeeps 2.0 is the gnome's original dimension and that in their own universe, the gnomes broke free from their wooden curse. Sherlock Gnomes is a recurring character, and in Nokia he talks about looking for a shipment of Yeeps plushies that had disappeared. This shipment actually has been found, and it's actually the sunken container ship in Animal Company, which if you've never heard of Animal Company, it's another VR game. This confirms that not only is the Yeeps multiverse real, but so is the VR multiverse. Even more recently, the barrier has broken into the real world, and Puma shoes have found their way into Yeeps. So yes, the gnomes are very smart. The red screens have shown up in a few parts of the Yeeps world. They first showed up right before Yeeps 2.0, and it was called the Signal. It probably got its glowing red color from the mushrooms that power the Yeeps 2.0 portal. The red screens were an important part of the creation of the portal that brought us to Yeeps 2.0. Also, an interesting thing I saw in Hermit Peak was this green screen. There's a chance this could be a new signal to a new portal, or maybe something else entirely. However, it is definitely not a signal to Yeeps 3.0, as Nathan has confirmed that 3.0 is never going to happen. So the gnomes are definitely a very interesting part of Yeeps, and a very fun part. I would really appreciate it if you subscribed, and also please comment your own theories about the gnomes, and maybe some ideas that I might have forgotten.